All right. Well, good afternoon or morning or whatever time of day you're watching this. But I'm very excited to spend a little time talking to somebody that I consider a friend at this point in my life. But it's the story of Bryon, and I've got down here redefining myself. What is this about? Well, Bryon is a guy that I met through a corporate health engagement. We go into corporate America and companies that want to try to help their employees that are struggling with issues, and we help them reverse issues. And in Bryan's case, get blood sugar under control, get weight under control. This is the really cool part. I'm gonna lure you in here because Bryon lost 100 pounds in 8 months. And he'll tell you all about it. His diabetes, he was type 2 diabetic at the onset. He wasn't on medication for it, but his glucose was 137 and it was going untreated. And in 6 months, it came down to 89. That is a huge drop, a colossal drop. That's the difference between going on to having a heart attack and not. And then the inflammation in his body. CRP is a marker of inflammation. It should be less than 1. Well, his was 11. That's colossal. But in a matter of just 6 months, he got it down to 7. And I'll bet you by now, it's even lower than that. So without further ado, let me see if I can make my software work. I think they're seeing us, my good man.
All right.
If I can, well, we'll see if this works. If it doesn't, we'll know soon enough. Anyhow, for those of you that are watching this, this is my good friend, Bryon. Bryon, say hello to everybody. They can't wait to hear how you lost, at this point, 105 pounds. Tell them your journey. When you started, when we met, what was your weight?
When I started the program, I was at 476 pounds.
And you are currently a svelte 371.
371, yeah.
Over the span, we estimated roughly, what, 8 months?
Yeah,
Kind of
around there, yeah.
Okay. So for those that don't know, you were part of a group of about 15 people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget the first day I met you. Everybody walks in, everybody sits down, everybody's a little nervous because they're not certain what they've signed up for or what they've gotten into. Tell me your thoughts as you stepped into this program. And it was our Virtuoso program, right? It was just a 6-month engagement to help educate people on their health. But what were your thoughts walking into that?
My thoughts were, I'm not a failure, so I want to go all in with whatever this guy's got to say to me because I've tried everything. I've tried everything else, and I've lost weight on other things, but I gained it right back, and all just that type of mentality of I'm open to the new ideas, and with that, I'm going to give it whatever he says to do. I'm going to do. That's the type of mentality. I know there's some people who's like, oh, this probably won't work for me, and
Yeah.
this guy can say whatever he wants to, and I'll see if I'll do it and stuff. But I'm the type that, if I'm going to commit to this program, then I'm going to commit to, like, not just verbally and say, yeah, I'll do the program, but also do every single aspect that's asked of me, within the program.
And you did that. And you did
try
that.
to stick
When I
to
first
it.
met you, very quiet guy sitting in the back of the room, and I had my doubts because I thought, uh-oh, here's a guy who's just here because he has to be, and you proved me flat out wrong. You did everything we asked you to do. So you came in with a good sense of confidence, but you said you tried a lot of other things and you lost weight and regained it. Just
Yeah.
what were a couple of things that come to mind, things that you did that, they worked short term but not long term?
Just changing my diet structure. Trying to, like, I would try basically meat and vegetables. Just trying to take in more meat and vegetables, but like have high protein. Because my background, I played football in high school. I enjoyed sports. I'm a big football guy, and weightlifting and all that. So being a large guy was not it's not um, out of the realm of being normal for me because, like, I've always been a big guy and stuff. So when trying to lose the fat but stay large, I would just have more protein and try to work out more, more weightlifting, uh, and then also include some cardio and stuff. But uh, I would still eat. I would still have my breads, uh, my carbs and all that. I would still include, have days with that. Uh, and that's something this program's pointed out to me, is that I really don't need the breads, don't need it at all. And it's not even just this program, but my body itself has told me, you don't need this.
Why?
You
What would
don't.
happen to you if you ate them?
Oh my gosh. So like I would like give myself a cheat day once, every once in a while. Like
Yeah,
over the course of this program, I was like, uh, I feel like sitting down and eating a pizza with uh, actual dough and all that. And but literally a day or two later, my back, it felt like I couldn't move, and my back would go out. It seemed like it was just it was highly inflamed, and like could not move around as much as I normally do. So every time I do that, I'd be like, all right, so, and like it would be fewer and fewer. Like it'd be less frequent that I would just even take it in, because like my mind is like saying, listen to your body. You don't need this junk.
yeah.
Get rid of it. So, and now I'm done with, done with all that.
Well,
Pretty
I want to
much.
get to that because I'm sure a lot of people want to know, how did you make that transition? Because for most people, they talk about giving up bread or pizza, and it's like, oh my God, I can't even envision myself doing it. But I think one of the big motivators for you was early on, you had trouble moving. I mean, just
Hmm.
getting up and going to a stadium or walking across the parking
Yes,
lot or doing stuff was difficult. And
absolutely.
a lot of people have joint pain and arthritis and back pain, and
Hmm.
they don't associate that the food they're putting in their mouth, beyond their weight, just the food itself is creating inflammation.
Yes,
And you've got a really great sense of that now.
absolutely. Yeah, it's like, from my point of view, the way it happened to me, what caused me to get in the program was not just the weight and stuff, but also the not being able to move around and stuff. So, like you said, uh, the wake up call, the thing that was like, hey, you're gonna have to make a change. Um, like I said, I'm a big football guy, and I like the UK Wildcats um, college football program. And last April 2019, was their spring game. It's the first practice of the season, and it's free to the public and all that. So me and my buddies go to it. Uh, we go park, and I'm walking across the parking lot, and it's a good walk. You have to walk across the parking lot and then go around a practice field and all that just to get to the Commonwealth Stadium. I get to the fence of where we're having to go around the curve, and I just couldn't move anymore. My back wouldn't let me. I struggled to get across the parking lot. Like it was. I had to grab my buddy's shoulder and stuff, and then I just collapsed at the fence. I was like, I can't go any further. And looking back, it seemed like it was like crossing the Sahara Desert or something. Like it was a long trip, but looking back at it now, it was such a short trip that I could not make.
Yeah,
And now I feel like I can make that trip 20, 30 times over. But that was the wake up call, was that
yeah,
I can't even do a simple thing of go watch a sport that I enjoy with my friends.
right.
That's just ridiculous. I got to make a change.
Well, I think a lot of people would look at your weight and say, well, it's just because of his weight. But I want you to speak to, it was more than that. It was
Yes,
weight, and it was
absolutely.
joint pain, and
It
there were
was
so
the
many
pain in my
complications.
knees and my back.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Uh,
And what do
and
you do now? What kind of activity are you capable of now?
now I do kickboxing, walking my dog. Uh, like I I do, household chores. They're nothing to me now. Like I can do. My wife can make me a honeydew list of everything she wants done, and bop 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 bop. I'm just knocking them right out left and right.
Excellent. So energy's a lot better, movement's a lot better, joints are, I
Absolutely.
mean, it's a whole different life. But I'm sure people listening to this want to know, what the hell did he do? Give me the magic sauce, give me the secret. Well, when we come into corporate health programs, we're not having a medical presence per se. We're just changing lifestyle. And so we
Hmm.
start with a paleo type diet. And I can explain what a paleo diet is. And then some people, like Bryon, goes beyond paleo into keto. So tell people, when you first started this program, what did it feel like that first 2 weeks? What was the thing that stays with you in your memory? What is the first thing you had to change that you said, wow, that made a difference?
So whenever taking in um, the meats to get rid of the carbs in my body, that the inflammation in my body and all that. Uh, Within the first week, I noticed that was gone, and then doing just the veggies and meats in the right portions. That following week, like it seemed like everything was cleared up compared to the not being able to walk across the parking lot. I have another group of friends who has a son that plays middle school football, and I walked from my truck across the parking lot and stood on the sideline, walking up and down the sideline. 2 weeks of clearing that up. It was remarkable.
Yeah.
I was a believer then. That made me a believer
So,
that I
so
could
that's when it
go.
became real for you.
Yes, that's when it came real, because normally I could, what sticks in my head is how I would have reacted before that. I would have struggled to got across the parking lot, and then like I would have pushed an old lady out of her seat just to get that chair, because like I need something to relieve my back. But no, I instantly was standing there on the sideline cheering him on, rooting him on.
Awesome. Awesome.
It was a win.
I want to get in your head a little bit. Okay. So obviously you made a great transition, and we can talk about getting into keto later. But if you were standing in front of a version of you from 8 months ago, the guy that was in misery, and because this represents a lot of people. A lot of people are living their lives and they just figure, this is who I am. I am a diabetic. I am overweight. I am heartburn. That they think that's who they are, and they don't believe they can change. So I want you to speak a little bit. What would you have said to yourself 8 months ago? And what would you say to that person that says, well, it worked for Bryon, but it wouldn't work for me because of all these reasons? It's way too hard. To lose 105 pounds must have been horrific. Talk about that effort and that mindset. What were you thinking to yourself?
So if I could talk to myself, I would say get to Dr. Huber sooner, and you don't need breads. You don't have to there. You don't have to have that bread balance of wheat and being part of a daily diet and all that. You can actually get your carbs from the vegetables that you take in, from the broccoli and spinach and all that, your greens. So uh, that's basically what I would tell myself, is to give it your all as soon as possible, because you can't just it's not a wavering line where you can I'll dip my toe in it and all that, just because what else do you have to lose, really?
What about
Life's
the person that tells me, and I've heard this before, truly, from people that were heartfelt, and they said, life's not worth living without bread.
if that's the way you feel, uh, me personally, I would say no. It is. There's much more to life than just bread. Being able to act, being having activities in life is what makes life worth living. Being able to spend moments with your loved ones and all that. That's I'll trade that for bread any day.
Yeah, being able to walk to a football game and enjoy it
Absolutely.
for a piece of bread. Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting because I hear that a lot from people. Tell me, how difficult, in retrospect, how difficult was the process itself? I think a lot of people think, in order to lose weight, I got to work out 2 hours a day and not eat any calories and starve myself. Speak to that if you can.
Uh, Absolutely. No, no, that's not the case at all. There were there were there were days that I was just too full of the food that I was eating. It was the good food. It was the right food. I was taking in the right, the correct carbs and the right number of carbs and proteins and fats. But I never felt starved whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I was losing anything, like in the sense of, oh well, I'm going to miss out on, my breads, and like I'm going to miss this. Uh, Starting out, you can have you will have those thoughts, I suppose, but like the rewards outweigh the risk of missing out. The rewards of getting your life back outweigh that, and that's what was going through my mind. Seeing the results and then seeing them applied to my life, like that, just it was a no contest. Like
Yeah.
I could give
Yeah.
up that stuff no problem. Like because I was actively seeing the results. If I was doing it and I was just feeling miserable and, oh well, screw this program by Dr. Huber, I'm done. Nothing's happening. But like I've never seen such quick results. Such turnaround that quick.
If you could change anything, or tell me this before we get to that. There was a point in our program where we talk about doing a mind-body mission. We talk about you got to get inside here. You got to change how you think and how you process and what you believe. And we asked participants in the group to stand up and tell us their mission statement. We gave you all some guidelines. And you impressed the hell out of me early on in the program when you were one of the first ones to read your mission statement. And you stood up, and I mean, with the absolute confidence and belief of a, Jedi warrior, you looked at me and you said, I am a kickboxer. Now here's a guy who's really overweight and probably still struggling with some pain at that point. But your brain, you said, no, I am a kickboxer. And you said it with such confidence that it stayed with me to now. And I
Yes.
want you to speak to that, because I think what you demonstrated so beautifully was I will become whatever I see in my mind. I will become that.
Yes.
Right. And now here you are doing kickboxing. Right.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
How did you make that transition? Talk about that mind body mission transition.
It was mostly it was the I am is what defines it. It's not I'm going to be or I will eventually be well enough to become a kickboxer and all that. It was I am a kickboxer. I'm doing everything I can to go down that path. And where I've lost the weight and the inflammation's gone and the pain's gone, I wanted to dive into more workouts, get my cardio up, and I'm always interested in MMA and amateur wrestling, professional wrestling, all that different the physical activity. Um, so I found a kickboxing gym that it's just you and your heavy bag. You go at it, and it it's a really great place because they incorporate. Just give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Hang on 1 second.
Sure. So for those of you listening, we do a mind body mission, and anybody can do this course. We have it available to all of our patients. But the mind body mission, it's a 6-hour online course, but it walks you through you identifying your best version of you. We all have beliefs. I'm not big enough, fast enough, strong enough, smart enough. We all have these disabling beliefs. But if we identify them, we corral them, we put a big circle around them, and we target them, we say, no, I'm gonna get rid of that and replace it with this belief. That's what the mind body mission is all about. And it's something that Chelsea and I, sorry, Bryon, I was just explaining while you were gone what the mind body mission is. Chelsea and I believe that people that lose weight and keep it off, they do it with ease, much like Bryon did, right? With ease, I mean, it didn't feel like you were in prison. And I am absolutely confident that you're going to keep your weight off because you've changed this. That's what drives all behavior. The desire to put a donut or a pizza or anything in my mouth is all driven by my belief system. I had a rough day. I need a reward. I've earned this. We have these beliefs, and nobody can tell you you're wrong. I'm not telling you you're wrong. Your beliefs are yours.
Mm-hmm.
If your beliefs are leading into a bad place and your beliefs keep repeating the same behavior, then you've either got to change your beliefs or be a victim of them. And
Yes.
and that's why I was. So go ahead. You were saying.
Absolutely. So this The kickboxing gym that I go to, it has uh, it has a great program because it incorporates some yoga, some good stretches, and then you just get to take your day out, like your stressful work day, you know, some stuff at home, whatever's going on. Like they have a motto where whatever you bring into the building, you're not taking back out. You you know, just it's so like it's a good refresher, but also you get great cardio workout too. Just going at that bag,
Yeah.
throwing kicks and stuff. It's it's really great. And I really enjoyed it. It's very therapeutic and all that. So
Yeah. Yeah. I love that kind of work too. I think that's awesome. Um, Anything else come to mind as we kind of walk down this path and review kind of what you've done and where you are? Any other thoughts that you want somebody to know about your journey that you think would help them or would be important to them?
um, I would I would say the the path you go down, um, to better yourself will it probably won't be the same as my path or anyone else's, but there is a path that you can follow that for self improvement, with your mind, your body, all that. And I would say this program is a great blueprint to find that, to find what works best for you, um, by scientifically and all the different statistics and data and information there. It helps it helps you fine tune what it is you need to be your best you. Is what I would say.
Well, I can't thank you enough for sharing your time. You helped a lot of people today because I guarantee you, I see it every day. There are people out there struggling, and I can tell them, we can help you lose weight. It doesn't matter what I say. They need to hear from people like you that have walked that path and have taken that on, uh, because that's real. That's tangible.
Yeah,
They can believe in that. They can put stock in what Bryon did, and I think what you just said was right on target. Everybody takes a different path. Everybody's path is unique, but there's similarities, and
yeah,
not everybody that does program becomes a kickboxer, but, but they all become masters of their mind, and that's what we need to be. To be
absolutely.
successful in life at any level, you have to be the master of your mind, and I think you exemplified that so beautifully in your course, and I continue to be inspired by you. And I want to share with you, I now make Nestle Crunch bars as snacks. That's right. I do, because my friend Bryon showed me how. As we begin to roll out of this discussion, tell me about Nestle Crunch bars.
They they're pretty much nice little twist on the fat bombs, where it's with coconut oil and all the healthy fats and cocoa powder and all that, and then little protein puffs that you can get in a silicone mold. You combine all your ingredients together and pour them in there in a nice silicone mold. Put them in the refrigerator. An hour later, you got nice
And
candy
they're
bar
pretty close.
replacement.
I fed them to my 19 and 21-year-old kids, and they're like, "Damn, these are good." Right?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
not like diet food. This is really good stuff. So it's crunchy and it's chocolatey and it's sweet, but it's keto. And so you're on a low-fat diet, right?
Uh, no, no, I'm on this. I got high fat. No, I'm 70% fat.
He's on a high-fat diet and he's losing fat like crazy. You're doing a ketogenic program at this point,
Absolutely,
and so am I. And you feel really good on it.
absolutely. I stay
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
ketosis.
Okay.
All that, like I check my ketones and all that, keep that going. Yeah, it's really great. Include a bunch of avocado in my recipes, and that's the thing too, is that uh, if I do get a craving, if they're like, I'm a Southern boy, so I love biscuits and gravy, but I've looking out on my own, doing my own research of finding recipes and things like that Nestle bar there, the chocolate bar. I found biscuits and gravy, keto biscuits and gravy using almond flour and all that,
Yeah.
and uh, yeah, I mean, it's just as good to me for biscuits and gravy and then eggs and bacon and
Yeah. Scratches that
smaller
itch.
portions, but
Yeah.
it's yeah. My wife, she makes me an omelet, and the last the day before she made me one, and like it was just a large fat-filled omelet, but like it was just so heavy. I was like, maybe we can cut this in half because like it's just so much. I gave some to the dog and all that, and yeah,
That's awesome.
so
Bryon,
yeah,
thank you so much. You've been so kind and so gracious with your time. I appreciate it. I think a lot of people will learn some things from your words today. So thanks for sharing, and I look forward to catching up with you later. All right?
absolutely.
All right, man. Take care. Keep on it.
Thank you.
All right. See ya.
See you.